Australia's Victoria state is tightening its new stage 4 lockdown measures in cases where as record highs are being reached this week. All non-essential businesses are ordered to shut as of midnight tonight. It's in addition to strict new rules that took effect in Melbourne on Sunday night, including a nightly curfew and limits on travel in and out of the city. The restrictions are aimed at curbing the growing second wave of infections before hospitals become overwhelmed. Let's go to freelance reporter Rochelle Harrison-Pless in Sydney with the latest on this. Rochelle, thanks for joining us. What is the situation in Melbourne right now?
Well, it was yet another devastating day for Victoria. The state racked up 725 new cases of COVID-19. That's a national record, the highest daily increase since the pandemic began. And that's despite 3 days of tougher stage 4 restrictions and an overnight curfew, which came into force on Sunday night. But today, the reins are tightening even further. All non-essential businesses will be forced to close at 11:59 p.m. tonight. Entire industries will grind to a halt, and that will affect some 250,000 workers, 250,000 people who will no longer be able to go to work, on top of the 500,000 who are already working from home. Now, essential businesses include things like supermarkets and grocery stores, of course, but also liquor stores, post offices, pharmacies. On top of that, employees working for those essential businesses will now have to carry a worker permit. I've spoken to quite a few people in Melbourne, and it's getting really tough for them. What was supposed to be a 6-week lockdown has now been extended until at least mid-September, and it's become stricter. We've gone from stage 3 to stage 4 restrictions. So there is very much a sense of just wanting to get this done, making sacrifices for the greater good. And many people see this as, short-term pain for long-term gain. Now, the Premier of Victoria, Daniel Andrews, has said this has to work because there is no stage 5 restrictions.
Still, though, Rochelle, not everyone is on board, apparently. Can you tell us about the consequences for those who break the new rules?
Indeed, there is talk of community fatigue, and authorities are grappling with quite a number of rule breakers. Figures released last week showed that some 1 in 4 people who tested positive to COVID-19 were not self-isolating. So there is now a crackdown on those people who are not doing the right thing. Hundreds of troops will be brought in to assist the thousands of police and health workers already on the ground. They'll be stepping up their door-to-door checks. Police have also said that they've handed out hundreds of fines, either to people who have not been wearing masks, as is mandatory, or for people who are breaching the stay-at-home order. I believe we have a SOT from Shane Patton, Victoria's Police Chief Commissioner.
On at least 3 or 4 occasions in the past week, we've had to smash the windows of people in cars and pull them out of there so they could provide their details, because they weren't telling us where they were going. They weren't adhering to the Chief Health Officer guidelines. They weren't providing their name and their address. We don't want to be doing that, but people have to absolutely understand there are consequences for your actions.
And those consequences are even greater now for those people who don't play by the rules. They'll be slapped with bigger fines, up to 20,000 Australian dollars, which is around 19,000 Canadian dollars, the largest on-the-spot fine in the state's history.
Thanks for this, Rochelle. Freelance reporter Rochelle Harrison-Pless in Sydney.